Well, we're now joined by the new Cleveland Guardians bullpen coach and a former Akron RubberDucks pitching coach, Brad Goldberg. I'm Marco LaNave alongside Jimmy Farmer. Well, Brad, first of all, congratulations on your new role.
Yeah, thank you. Super exciting.
How did you find out the news that you were named the bullpen coach?
Yeah, went through an interview process with the Guardians, and then I don't even remember when, but our new manager Stephen Vogt called me and said we'd like to offer it to you, and that was a good phone call. So, pretty. I don't know the term, but like pretty self-explanatory there. Like interview, get the call back after a few interviews and calls with other people, and yeah, pretty easy to say yes to that one.
Do you remember what your initial reaction was, or kind of like that moment when you got that call of, hey, I'm going to be on the Guardian staff?
Um, you know what? I don't even know if like it's really settled in as much as like we work like so much as a group organizationally that like I take it as an honor. I guess I would say like pleasantly surprised. I have a lot of confidence in myself, and I felt like I prepared really well, but you'd like to think that like an interview doesn't get you a job internally, right? Like it's your work and your relationships and how you treat people and how the players have been affected. So um, I don't know if I've really internalized that as much as like, just kind of continue to work, and I'm sure it'll hit me at some point, but yeah, continually just want to do right by the players, the city, the coaching staff, your family, yourself, everyone like that.
And Brad, you mentioned Stephen Vogt giving you the call. How well have you known him previously?
Didn't know him before this. Knew quite a few people in the baseball world that did know him and have gotten to know him, as well as you can through Zoom and texting and phone calls. Since the interview process, now we're past that. So I look forward to continually, hardening that relationship with the entire staff, voter included, obviously, but he's done a great job at reaching out. And we just chat about, what we want it to look like, plans, golf here and there, which has been cool. But yeah, he's as advertised, he's the man, and continue to look forward to getting to know him and everyone.
So I know we said right before we started that it's been a little hectic and everything. So now that things are starting to settle in, how are you preparing for the new role?
Yeah, we're having, a lot of Zooms, myself, Carl, Joe, and then, just myself trying to do my homework on the players that I haven't had in the past. And even if I had, just, making sure we're staying up to date with their goals, where they're at in the off season, on ramping for spring training into the season. So essentially just doing your homework and collaborating with the staff to make sure that, we're on schedule for spring training.
And Brad, some fans may not know this, but those of us in Akron do, that you had a chance to go up to Cleveland for even a short time during the Major League regular season this past summer. How much did that help in these relationships that you're growing even further now?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I don't know how much it prepared as much as it kind of gave you an insight into like, what it looks like, how people work, how the players interact with coaches, how the players are during the game, how it's changed since I've played. But yeah, I think it just goes back to relationships and just seeing them in their element.
You mentioned kind of your playing career there, being a reliever, being a guy that came out of the bullpen. Has that kind of helped you for this role, or do you remember your bullpen coach when from your time in the bigs? Does that kind of help you at all?
I don't think it can hurt. I think with everything in life, you take the good, the bad, the ugly, and you try to make sense of it to I guess in this case help the players the best, right? Every team is different, every player is different, but sure, I think the experience of being there and seeing, it's a somewhat high stress environment. How do we make it as least stressful as possible? Players to be enjoying themselves, enjoying the players around them, but also, highly prepared and doing what they need to do the job at hand to the best of their ability. So I'm sure, some of the experience, hopefully it helps. But this is about the other guys, is not about me.
And speaking of so many of those players you've already impacted, Brad, you had pitchers here come through Akron who were very much in development, even shifted roles outing to outing, and maybe over the course of this season. How does that kind of benefit you in the role that you're going to be taking on in Cleveland?
I think the more that, the players are exposed to, and the more that we, chat with one another and work, and we coincide, I think it benefits the players, and then it benefits myself, just to have more tools in our toolbox. Whether it's planning, whether it's programming, whether it's in-game problem solving. I mean, we can go down a list of things, but the more experiences that I can bank, hopefully helps the players, right? But yeah, I think the more that we can bulletproof, the organization as a whole, I think is generally a win. So again, I'm not sure there's one answer to that, as much as like, if we continue to make sure that we can put the players in the best situation to succeed, and we've already seen it, or we've had some semblance of it, or I can ask Carl or Joe, or the player makes their debut or been up there, like I think it's probably an easier kickoff point to start a conversation around it.
Going back to Stephen Vogt a little bit more, him being in a similar role as a bullpen coach last year, does that kind of give you a little bit of extra, almost kind of like an extra guy to bounce ideas off of, knowing that, he's freshly coming out of this role?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've already kind of chatted him up about, ideas that he has, things that he liked, that he saw work, things that maybe didn't, work as well as he would like. And we just hired Craig Albernaz as well, who was with the Giants organization, and he was also a bullpen coach. So yeah, I'm sure that at some point they'll get sick of me asking questions, but yeah, it's a great question, and something that I've already, undertaken is asking them about their experiences, and how we can have the best plan for our players.
And Brad, the year that you did have with us in Akron, what stands out to you?
Man, that's a broad question. We started the year with, some high profile starters. We found our way with guys, as you alluded to earlier, changing roles, getting a bunch of different experiences. But the whole time we stayed a unit, and we stayed, uber competitive on the pitching staff. So I thought we had a great culture, and that's a credit to the players. And I thought, a lot of guys made strides in a lot of different avenues, whether that's their individual goals, that's, the pitch profiles of their delivery, or it was just competitive stuff, being in a playoff run. So we had a ton of different ways to develop as people and as players. So yeah, I don't know if there's one answer, but, we had a great time, we had a good culture, and we were super competitive. So I was pretty happy with that outcome.
And to talk about this year a little bit more, working with Rugi, and now he's going up to the big leagues with you, what kind of stood out of working with him, and now getting to share kind of this call up, if you could put it that way, with him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to be working with Rugi again, just so excited for him and his family in general. Rugi, elite communicator, has his coaches' backs, has his players' backs. I'm not sure there's enough adjectives to go around about Rugi, but the guy just cares, like, at a super high level about the organization, the players, the people within the organization, something I strive to be. And a guy, like, I feel like you just get better as a human and as a coach just being around Rugi. So having those people on your staff are invaluable. So I couldn't be more thrilled for him, his family, and then just himself getting the opportunity, and I'm happy to be there with him.
And with the headline being, for a lot of fans in Cleveland, the change in the manager's office, Stephen Vogt. Brad, what can you tell us about kind of the tone that he has set as a leader for you guys already that are part of the staff?
yeah, we want to have a, collaborative atmosphere. We want to win games, want to put our players in the best position to do that, want to have a good time doing it. And we're going to challenge our players. We're going to, we want them to get better every day. And that's going to challenge us as a staff, and we're going to challenge them back. But at the same time, enjoying ourselves, enjoying, the competition, and having just a really high culture. So, I'm really excited to see what else he brings and hopefully foster that culture.
All right, Brad. Well, thank you so much again for your time, and we're very excited here in Akron. We're going to be excited to follow you and all of the pitchers who've come through here work together again at an even higher level. So thanks again for giving us some time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Go Ducks.
That's Brad Goldberg, now the Cleveland Guardians bullpen coach for 2024.